Howdy. So I graduated Kenner High School year 2011. So I guess that means I went to Westchester 2011, 2012, 1 year. Didn't do too well. That's a different story altogether. Anyway, I commuted. So I drove up there every day, came back every day. It was about a half-hour drive. And my class schedule, I had about a 3 or 4 hour break in between a couple of my classes. And, of course, I'm commuting, freshman, so I have no friends whatsoever. So I brought my bike up to school every day on the back of my Subaru. And I just tooled around for the 3 hours in between my classes. I just rode my bike around campus for 3 hours straight. But anyway, I'm riding my bike along, I guess, not driving. Riding along.
Well, you can drive a bike.
You can drive a bike, that's true. Mine's a pedal bike, though, not a motorcycle. Yeah. So I'm riding my bike along, and I see these 4, maybe 5 guys and a lady sitting up on a porch of this house, up on the right. One's got a guitar, just kind of hang out, drinking some drinks. And I'll drive by, it's pretty cool. So I said, I don't got any friends at this point. So I said, what, let me just come back around. I pull back around the block, all the way around, go across campus. I'm riding back up the street. And I'm a sight to see. I was a pretty weird kid in college. I wore a straw hat everywhere and sunglasses all the time. Nobody in Westchester ever saw my eyes at this point. It was a standing joke. So anyway, I pull up in front of this guy's house, right on the sidewalk. Hit the brakes.
Little skid stop. Style points.
Pull my kickstand out and, stop it from him. At this point, they all stop, and they're sitting there looking at me, this, weird-ass kid sitting in front of their house on the sidewalk. So I get off, and, I walk up their front steps right onto the porch. I haven't said anything at this point. I just kind of walk up the front steps. Nobody says anything to me, and again, remember, I have a backpack full of Coke Zeros at this point. So I take it off, and I pull it around in front of me, and I take a Coke Zero out and place one in front of every person sitting on the porch. And then I go ahead and I sit down in a chair, and I crack myself open my own Coke Zero. I said, howdy, I'm Dale. And that is how I met my best buds for that whole year of college. Went over to the house every day. I held down the fort. I was there every day at college, Westchester. It wasn't often that you didn't see me there. Class or no class, I was there.
Now, did you always have the Coke Zero?
No, that was just a one-time deal. No, it was a rad bike. Chrome wheels, white leather seat with white leather handlebars. The whole thing was gold. It was a rad bike. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so this particular day, I had a quiz in my math class, I believe. Just a little pop quiz, maybe 10 or 15 points, nothing big.
Well, how is it a pop quiz if you know it's coming?
Good point. Probably just a quiz at this point. So anyway, I have a quiz, and it's starting in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and I gotta get there quick. I've been, slacking, playing video games, not doing what I should have been doing. So anyway, I hop on my bike, and their house sits on the street, and then they have another little street that runs on the side of their house, and that's where they park. Their parking spots are up there. So I bring my bike off there, and I pull out onto the street from there. It's just easier than the sidewalk. I get a little more momentum. And it was raining, not a whole lot, but it was raining a little bit, kind of sprinkling. So the roads were a little wet. So anyway, I'm sitting up at the top of the street, and I'm about to come down onto the main street and head over to campus. And there's 2 cars today parked on the street. There's one right at the right side of the little side street and one on the left side of the little side street. So I can't really see on either side of me. And so I'm looking as best I can, looking over the cars, and it looks all clear. So I go ahead and take off the brakes and shoot out and go to head to class. And so I hit the street. Next thing I know, I look to my left, and there's this gold Volkswagen barreling towards me. So all I can do at this point is stick my arm up and just kind of start yelling. At this point, I'm being drowned out by the horn, which was pretty loud.
Oh, man.
It was pretty close. So next thing I know, I'm getting banged around, dude. I end up on the floor. I end up on the wet pavement. I'm all wet. I'm trying to figure out what the heck happened. My bike's about 10 feet to the right of me. And I realized I just got hit by a stinking car, dude. This is kind of unfortunate.
Man, you smell the car that bad?
Yeah. So I get up. I'm checking myself out. My hat and sunglasses, which again I always wore all the time, are gone. They're laying in the middle of the street. So I go and pick them up and put my hat on. I'm looking around, still kind of in a daze. And I turn around and there's some guy yelling at me like, "Oh, you all right, dude? You know, are you good?" And I'm like, "Oh man, that's right. I just got hit by a car." And then some lady is running over. "Oh my god! You just got hit by a car."
Oh boy.
The guy gets out, and I walk over to him. I said, "Howdy, I'm Dale." Shook his hand. He said, "Well, there's a hell of a way to meet a guy, dude. I just hit you with my car." I said, "Yeah, I know. Sorry about that, man. It was entirely my fault. I didn't really check." He's like, "No, don't worry about it." So I'm sitting there talking to the guy, and all of a sudden my buddies run out. Again, I'm still right in front of their house. And one of my buddies, Steve, runs out. He runs out on the porch and says, "Dale, what the hell?" It's like, "I just got hit by a car, Steve." It's like, "I know you got hit by a car, Dale. I heard it from inside." It turns out they played hockey with each other. So the guy who hit me was one of my buddy's best friends. So he walks down, and we're sitting there talking, and they're checking me out, make sure I'm all right. At this point, I felt fine. I felt on top of the world. My bike was really messed up. It was all bent up. My pedal was bent in the frame. Both two wheels were warped.
It's a darn shame.
Yeah, it's a darn shame.
Rad
Nice bike. I'm still bummed about that. Actually, I was more bummed at the time about the bike than being hit by the car. So again, I'm checking myself out. They're looking at me. I feel fine. Actually, I feel really, really awesome. I felt like I was on top of the world. I just got hit by a car at pretty good speed, and I felt fine. Like there's nothing wrong with me.
It wasn't just scooting along.
No. There were skid marks. It was pretty good. So like I said, I feel fine. I feel like Superman. Actually, I got hit by a car. I'm absolutely fine. The guy said, "You want to call the police? You want to do anything?" I said, "No. I think I'm all good. I don't hurt. My bike's pretty messed up, but it's my fault. I'm not too worried about it." So I sent him on his way. And I didn't go to class because, again, at this point I'd just been hit by a car. So, I'm getting my bike and trying to pick up. There's still some pieces laying in the middle of the road. So I put my bike on the sidewalk. My buddy helps me, and we're picking up stuff in the middle of the street. And then all of a sudden, I started hurting, man. I felt real bad. Yeah, my ribs were hurting real bad, and my arm was getting real big and purple. My left arm. We presume that I stuck my arm out and he ran into it and hit it, and that's why it was all hurt. But anyway, so I went and sat inside. They got me an ice pack, and I'm just sitting there watching TV. Didn't go to class because I really didn't feel like it. And I'm just feeling worse and worse and worse, and I'm still all wet, which was probably the worst part of the ordeal. Was I'm hurting and I'm wet, and it's cold. So I'm kind of sitting there shivering, just look like a hopeless, helpless little man. I went home. I had to work that night. Unfortunately, I worked at Radio Shack at the time, so the whole night I'm standing behind the counter. My arm's all swollen, just not feeling super good at that point. I hadn't told anybody actually I've been hit by a car yet. Nobody knew. My coworker at the time eventually noticed because the whole time I was leaning over the counter groaning. My arm twice the size it should have been. I stayed the whole night. I think it was a 4 or 5 hour shift, so I stayed the whole night. Next morning, woke up, still feeling pretty crappy. Couldn't drive super well, but went to class anyway because, I missed my quiz, and it's probably not good to not go to class at that point. So I go to class, and I'm just feeling rotten the whole time, sitting there, hurting, doing the same thing. I had my arm sitting up on the desk the whole time. I couldn't put it down because it would just hurt real bad. My ribs are hurting. And that night I peed blood, which was...
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. Not a lot. It wasn't all blood. It was just like, well, there's a little bit of red in there. So that was kind of scary. I hadn't done anything at this point. So I go to class, and then I left after my second class. I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I got to go home. Went home, told my mom I got hit by a car. She's like, oh, does the whole mom spiel. You all right? Got to go to the hospital. And I was like, all right, well, at this point, I'd left class because I wasn't feeling too good. So I decided to go to the hospital. We went to the hospital.
Probably a good decision.
Ended up being a good decision.
Peeing blood.
Yeah, peeing blood and all. That generally doesn't go away by itself. Actually, it did go away by itself. They didn't have to give me anything for the peeing blood thing. So yeah, go to the hospital. It turns out I had broken my wrist, 2 ribs on my left side, and I guess it was my kidney. I got some of my kidney, which is why I was peeing blood. So I'm there for a couple hours. They're giving me X-rays and checking my chest and doing the knee tap thing and so anyway, I come out of the hospital all wrapped up. They put the ace bandage around me, which doesn't really do anything. I don't know why the heck. It's just
ace bandage?
Yeah, why do they wrap ace bandage around your rib cage? Like, what's that gonna?
What's an ace bandage?
That like stretchy tan.
Oh yeah,
thing with the Velcro on the end that you put you'd splint something with.
Just wrapped you
They just
up?
wrapped me with it for whatever reason.
Like a sandwich?
More like a. What would you?
Definitely not like a
would
sandwich.
Would you wrap in a strip?
It's like a mummy.
Yeah, like a mummy. There you go, like a mummy. Except they covered my torso. So they wrapped me up with that, and I had a big old cast on my arm because I had a broken wrist. So I go home and sitting there. I go back to school the next day. I got my arm all casted up. I'm all wrapped up around my chest. I still don't know why they wrapped my chest up. They told me to take it off next week. I don't know what the hell it was for. But yeah, so I go back next day, and my buddy's like, dude, you broke your wrist and bust a couple ribs, and you got hit by a car, and you got up immediately afterwards. So I was still,
and you apologized.
And I apologized for getting hit by a car. I didn't call the cops. At this point, probably should have. But that never ever happened. Never filed a police report or nothing. Probably could have got some money out of that somehow. But yeah, so that was the unfortunate instance of being hit by a car. And again, this was 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 weeks into college. So that kind of stunk.
Yeah.
Being a freshman, towing around my book bag with broken ribs, broken wrist, and no bike at this point because it was trashed. So yeah, I had to walk around campus the next year actually, which was probably the most unfortunate part about it. Couldn't ride my super rad bike around.
Did you get the bike fixed?
Nope, still sitting in my garage. One day it'll probably get fixed. Actually, the bike has a name. The name of I didn't name it this. This was the name of the bike by the manufacturer. It's called an El Dorado. Yeah, pretty cool. All gold.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
it's a good bike. So hopefully one day I'll get that bike fixed and maybe tour around Westchester a couple more times.
Well, if you do get hit by a car again, I wouldn't apologize.